Story 2. The Garden and the Fall. Adam was sleeping peacefully in the garden, a deep sleep that God had brought upon him. And while Adam slept, God performed a beautiful act of creation. He took one of Adam's ribs and carefully, lovingly, fashioned it into another human being. When Adam awoke, there before him stood the first woman. Adam's heart filled with joy. He had seen all the animals with their companions, and now he had someone made just for him. "This is bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh," Adam said with wonder. "She shall be called woman, because she was taken out of man." Adam named her Eve, which means life, because she would become the mother of all living people. Adam and Eve lived together in the Garden of Eden, and their life there was perfect in every way. They walked with God in the cool of the day, talking with him as a friend talks with a friend. They had no shame, no fear, no worry. They tended the beautiful garden together, eating the delicious fruit from its trees, drinking from its clear streams, and resting in its shade. Every need was met. Every day was filled with peace and purpose. God had given them only one rule, one boundary to respect. They were not to eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Everything else in the entire garden was theirs to enjoy, but that one tree was forbidden. It stood there as a reminder that God was God, and they were his beloved creation. For a time, life continued in perfect harmony. But there was another creature in the garden. The serpent was the most cunning of all the wild animals that God had made, and this serpent was about to bring trouble into paradise. One day, the serpent approached Eve as she walked near the forbidden tree. "Did God really say you must not eat from any tree in the garden?" the serpent asked, his voice smooth and questioning. Eve stopped and looked at the serpent. "We may eat fruit from the trees in the garden," she replied. "But God did say, 'You must not eat fruit from the tree that is in the middle of the garden, and you must not touch it or you will die.'" The serpent's eyes gleamed. "You will not certainly die," he said, his words dripping with deception. "God knows that when you eat from it, your eyes will be opened, and you will be like God, knowing good and evil." The seed of doubt had been planted. Eve looked at the tree with new eyes. The fruit did look delicious. The tree was beautiful to look at, and the idea of gaining wisdom, of being like God, was appealing. Surely something so lovely couldn't be harmful? She reached out her hand and took some of the fruit. She bit into it, tasting its sweetness. Then she gave some to Adam, who was with her, and he ate it too. In that moment, everything changed. Their eyes were opened, just as the serpent had said, but not in the way they had hoped. Instead of feeling wise and powerful, they felt naked and ashamed. For the first time, they looked at themselves and felt embarrassed. They looked at each other and felt vulnerable. They quickly gathered fig leaves and sewed them together to make coverings for themselves. That evening, as the day began to cool, they heard the sound they had always loved, the sound of God walking in the garden. But this time, instead of running to meet him with joy, Adam and Eve hid themselves among the trees. Fear had entered their hearts. "Where are you?" God called out. Adam answered from his hiding place, his voice trembling. "I heard you in the garden, and I was afraid because I was naked, so I hid." God's voice was gentle but knowing. "Who told you that you were naked? Have you eaten from the tree that I commanded you not to eat from?" Adam's response revealed another change that had come into the world. Instead of taking responsibility, he blamed someone else. "The woman you put here with me," he said. "She gave me some fruit from the tree and I ate it." God turned to Eve. "What is this you have done?" Eve too shifted the blame. "The serpent deceived me and I ate," she said. God's heart must have been heavy with sadness. The humans he had made in his own image, the ones he had walked with as friends, had chosen to disobey him. Sin had entered the perfect world, and with it came consequences. God spoke first to the serpent. Because of what he had done, he would be cursed above all creatures. He would crawl on his belly and eat dust all his days. And God spoke of a future day when the woman's offspring would crush the serpent's head, though the serpent would strike his heel. This was a mysterious promise of hope, even in the midst of judgment. To Eve, God said that life would now include pain and difficulty. She would experience great pain in childbearing, and there would be struggle in her relationship with her husband, though she would desire to be with him. To Adam, God spoke about the ground itself. Because Adam had listened to his wife and eaten from the forbidden tree, the ground would now be cursed. Growing food would require hard work and sweat. The earth would produce thorns and thistles along with crops. Life would be toil and labor until Adam returned to the dust from which he was made. For dust you are, God said, and to dust you will return. Death had entered the world, but even in these moments of judgment, God showed compassion. He made garments of skin for Adam and Eve and clothed them, covering their shame. This was the first sacrifice, the first shedding of blood to cover sin, and it pointed forward to a greater covering that would come one day. Then God said something that showed both his justice and his mercy. The man has now become like one of us, knowing good and evil. He must not be allowed to reach out his hand and take also from the tree of life and eat, and live forever. Living forever in a state of sin would be a curse, not a blessing. So God, in his mercy, sent them out from the Garden of Eden. Adam would work the ground from which he had been taken, but he would do it outside of paradise. God placed cherubim, mighty angelic beings, on the east side of the garden. With them, he placed a flaming sword that flashed back and forth, guarding the way to the tree of life. The garden was closed to them now. Adam and Eve walked away from the only home they had known. Behind them stood the garden of perfection they could no longer enter. Before them lay an unknown world, a world that would now include hardship and pain, struggle and sorrow. But they walked together, and though they had lost paradise, they had not lost everything. God had not abandoned them. He had clothed them. He had spoken to them. And hidden in his words of judgment was a promise of hope, a promise that one day, someone would come to defeat the serpent and restore what had been lost. The story of humanity had truly begun. It was a story that would be marked by both struggle and grace, by consequences and second chances, by judgment and mercy. Adam and Eve would learn to live in this new world, to raise children, to work and rest, to remember what they had lost, and to hope for what might one day be restored. The garden remained behind them, guarded and unreachable, but ahead of them lay the rest of their lives, and the story of all humanity that would follow from them.